Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the English Echo.
We're very happy you're here today.
Today, we're going to practice English together in a simple and relaxing way.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Sophia.
We're happy you're here today.
Let's learn together. So, today we want to talk about a heavy feeling. It is a feeling that you might actually know very well. It is a quiet, kind of sad feeling that happens when you think you're not doing enough with your day. Sometimes you might sit down after working or studying and you still feel like you are wasting your life.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Right.
It is a very heavy pressure that many of us carry in our busy world today. You might feel a constant need to be perfect or to always study harder and keep moving forward. And, well, when you cannot keep up with that fast pace, it just leaves you feeling very tired, very small.
Exactly. It is exhausting. Imagine a common situation that happens to a lot of adults. You are sitting in a quiet room at the end of the day and you are just watching the sun go down. But instead of feeling peaceful, a dark gray cloud forms in your chest. You look around the quiet room and, well, you just start to worry.
Yeah. Right. That happens so often.
Mm-hmm.
You sit there and you ask yourself, what did I actually do today? You feel a deep sadness because, well, you think you did not achieve anything big or important. You start to believe that simply sitting in a chair and breathing the air is somehow a waste of sunlight.
That is so true. And then, to escape that gray cloud, you probably pick up your phone. You open the internet and you scroll through pictures of other people. You see them traveling to beautiful places or buying new houses or smiling with a large group of friends.
Yeah, and seeing those pictures usually makes that gray cloud much heavier.
Oh.
You look back at your quiet, normal room, and it feels like your life is empty. I mean, this happens because the world tries to sell us the idea of the grand life. The grand life is a story that says your days only matter if they are full of huge achievements and constant action.
Oh, wow. The grand life sounds exhausting when you put it like that. But those images we see on the internet are actually playing a trick on our minds. We are looking at something called a highlight reel. So if you watch a long football game, but you only watch a short video of the very best goals, you are watching a highlight reel.
That is a very good way to explain it, Sam. You only see the few seconds of excitement and victory. You do not see the players falling down or getting hurt or just standing around looking tired. And the internet does the exact same thing to human lives. It really only shows the brightest, happiest seconds of a person's entire month.
Right, the internet is just the best moments. Our brains forget that we are comparing our quiet, normal Tuesday to someone else's best moment of the year. We judge our boring days against their highlight reel. It creates an unfair test that we will always, always fail.
Yes, we definitely fail that test every time. And the people who spend all their energy chasing those big, perfect moments are usually hiding a lot of pain. Chasing that grand life every single day makes a person very tired and surprisingly lonely. The truth is, the quiet, small moments are the actual heart of a human life.
I agree completely. Real life is found in very simple things. It is noticing the way the afternoon light hits the wooden floor, or, it is listening to the soft, steady sound of the rain hitting your window. Just noticing the rain is not a waste of time. It is simply the act of being alive.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
When you start to value the rain and the light, well, it changes how you view your own existence. But it is very difficult to do this because of how society teaches us to view time. We are taught to treat time as if it were money.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. We use banking words when we talk about our days. We talk about spending time on a project or saving time by taking a faster train. We even say that a lazy afternoon is wasting time, almost like throwing coins down a drain.
Exactly, throwing coins down a drain. But treating time like a bank account is, well, a heavy burden. Time is not made of coins or paper money. You cannot put it in a box to use later. You do not spend time. You live it. You simply move through it.
Wait, that is really interesting. But if time is not a bank account, why do I feel so guilty when I just sit on the sofa? Even when I know I need to rest, my brain tells me I am losing something valuable. It feels like I'm failing a test.
Well, that guilt happens because we are trained to act like machines. A machine is built to work continuously until it breaks. But you are a part of nature, and nature has a very different rhythm. Think about the large trees outside your window during the winter months.
Okay, the winter trees. Well, in the winter, the trees lose all their leaves. They look completely dead to me. They do not grow flowers, and they do not produce any fruit. They just stand bare and still in the freezing cold.
Right, they look dead to us. To a machine, those trees are wasting time because they are not producing anything you can see. But the tree is actually doing something vital, something very important. It is gathering strength deep down in the dark dirt. The roots are slowly drinking water and preparing for the spring.
Oh, I love that. The tree is resting because resting is a necessary part of growth. It makes me wonder, do human beings have winters too? Do we have natural seasons where we just need to stop moving, stay still, and gather our strength in the quiet?
Yes, we absolutely have human winters. Sometimes you might feel deeply sad or your body might feel too heavy to do any extra work. Resting on the sofa during those times is not a failure. You were just experiencing your winter, and allowing yourself to rest is how you survive it.
Understanding the human winter really makes resting feel much safer. But even if we know resting is natural, time still feels like a dangerous enemy sometimes. It always feels like it is running out, pushing us to hurry up and finish our tasks.
That is so true. That feeling of panic comes from the tools we use to measure time. Imagine an old, tall wooden clock standing in a dark hallway. The clock swings back and forth, making a very loud, sharp sound. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, a loud ticking clock in a quiet house can create a lot of stress in the body. The sound feels like a giant heartbeat chasing you down the hallway. It is just a constant reminder that seconds are disappearing forever.
It really is. For many people, that loud ticking triggers fear. But there is a story about a wise grandfather who lived in a house with a loud clock. He never rushed. He would sit in his chair for hours, calmly watching the birds build nests in the garden.
That is amazing. Did the grandfather ignore the clock, or did he understand something special about it? I mean, sitting and watching birds while a clock ticks loudly behind you requires a very peaceful mind.
Yes, it takes a very peaceful mind. He understood that the clock is just a human invention. A clock is a piece of metal and wood that measures seconds. But the grandfather knew that a machine does not understand anything about the actual feeling of life.
That makes sense. The clock only knows how to count. It does not know how a flower smells or how the sun feels on your skin. And the birds outside the grandfather's window do not own watches. They do not have a schedule telling them when to sing.
Exactly. Birds and trees exist outside of human schedules. They are never early and they are never late. They do not worry about losing the race against the sun. They simply exist in the world, doing exactly what they need to do in that exact moment.
Wow, that is a great perspective. We let the ticking clock become a warning siren. We think the space between the tick and the talk is empty space that we must fill with hard work. And if we do not fill it, we feel useless.
Right, we feel useless, but the quiet space between the sounds is actually where all the magic happens. The silent moments where nothing big is happening are the moments where your soul grows. You grow slowly, just like a small, quiet seed hiding under the soft soil.
Oh, like a seed in the ground. When a seed is under the dirt, you cannot see anything happening on the surface. But underneath, the seed is breaking open and stretching out, so the quiet, restful moments are never empty. They are full of invisible, silent work.
That is exactly it. But when we let the clock chase us, we forget about that invisible growth. We start treating our own bodies like factory machines. We begin to judge our days using a very heavy and dangerous word. That word is productivity.
Productivity. Productivity is a word that belongs in a factory, not in a home. Our modern society tells us that your personal value is equal to your productivity. It is like if you cross 10 things off your list, you are a good person. If you cross 0 things off, you are a bad person.
Yes, it is a very harsh way to live. We start to view our bodies like a phone battery. We only feel proud of ourselves when our energy is at 100% and we're completing many tasks. When our battery is low, we feel broken and worthless.
But humans are not phones, and we are not laptops. A machine has only one purpose, which is to produce a result. A human being is complex. A human has a mind and a soul does not need to produce anything to be valuable.
That is perfectly said, Sam. To understand human value, think about a tiny sleeping baby. A baby is the most perfect example of a soul. A sleeping baby does absolutely nothing all day long. It just breathes, sleeps, and opens its eyes.
That is so true. The baby does not go to an office, it does not clean the kitchen, it does not earn any money, and it definitely does not study English grammar. The baby is completely unproductive.
Yet the parents look at that sleeping baby and feel it is the most precious, valuable thing in the entire world. The baby is loved fiercely simply because it exists. It does not have to earn the right to be loved or to sleep.
That is a beautiful image. But, as adults, we completely forget the lesson of the baby. We stop believing that our existence is enough. But the reality of adult life makes this difficult. Adults have to pay rent, they have to buy food, and clean the house.
Yes, I understand that. Those adult responsibilities are very real, and they definitely require energy. But the problem is the cruel voice we create in our heads. When an adult finally sits down because their body is aching, That loud voice screams that they are being lazy and irresponsible.
Oh, yes, the lazy voice. We are taught that laziness is a terrible flaw. We think it means we have a weak character. So when we feel too exhausted to wash the dishes, we punish ourselves with mean thoughts instead of just resting.
Exactly. What society calls laziness is very often just a deeply tired soul. It is a mind that is starving for some peace, quiet, and safety. You are still that valuable baby deep inside. Your true worth comes from your breath, not your daily to-do list.
Wow, that is really comforting. So if we are not machines and we feel crushed by all this pressure to perform, how do we stop the ticking clock in our minds? When the panic starts to rise, how do we find that safety?
Well, you do not need to make a massive plan or change your entire life by tomorrow morning. Trying to fix everything at once just creates more pressure. You only need to give yourself 5 minutes of gentle kindness. Just 5 minutes.
5 minutes of kindness sounds possible, but when my mind is racing fast, worrying about tomorrow's problems or next week's bills, it is very hard to be kind. How do we stop the mind from running into the future?
That is a great question. You can use small physical actions to pull your mind back to the present second. We call these physical actions anchors. Think of a boat floating on the ocean. A heavy metal anchor grabs the sand under the water to stop the boat from floating away into dangerous storms.
Oh, I see. We can use soft anchors to hold our minds to the earth. When your brain is panicking about the future, a physical sensation forces your brain to pay attention to right now.
Exactly. A simple soft anchor is touching the fabric of the shirt you're wearing. Use your fingers to slowly rub the material. Notice if it feels smooth, rough, or warm. By focusing completely on the threads, your brain has to stop worrying about tomorrow.
That is very simple. Another anchor could be drinking a glass of very cold water. But do not just swallow it quickly. Hold the glass, feel the cold moisture on your hands, and notice the icy feeling in your throat as you drink.
Yes, that is a perfect example. You can also use your ears as an anchor. Sit quietly and try to find the softest sound in the room. You might hear the hum of a refrigerator or a car driving far away down the street. Listening carefully brings you straight back to safety.
These physical anchors might seem too small to solve big problems, but they stop the panic. Doing these small things is still a form of movement. If you are too tired to run the race, it is perfectly okay to just crawl or to simply sit down.
It really is okay. Using an anchor to come back to the present moment is like coming home to yourself. When you finally arrive home after a very long trip, you can drop your heavy bags by the door, you can finally take off your shoes and stop running.
Oh, coming home to yourself. I love that phrasing. We spend our whole lives running toward a future place called peace. We tell ourselves that if we just work hard enough, pass one more test, or make a little more money, we will finally earn the right to feel peaceful.
But peace is not a distant city on a map. It is not something you buy with hard work. Peace is already waiting for you, hidden underneath all the loud, nervous noise of your daily life. It is sitting quietly in your own living room.
That is a wonderful thought. A day where you are simply kind to your tired mind is never a wasted day. Time is not a strict judge keeping a list of your failures and your unfinished chores. Time is just a gentle space for you to live in.
Yes, a gentle space. You are allowed to exist without producing anything. A quiet afternoon spent watching the shadows move across the wall is a beautiful, successful afternoon. You do not owe the world a performance every single day.
Tomorrow morning, the world will probably wake up and try to rush you again. The internet will show you highlight reels, and the clock will start ticking loudly. When the pressure returns, try to remember the things we talked about today.
Yes. Remember the bare winter tree standing in the snow. It is doing the important, invisible work of gathering strength. And remember the sleeping baby, who is perfectly loved and perfectly valuable just by breathing in and out.
Those are great things to remember. Before we finish our time together today, we want to give you a question to think about. You can take this question with you as you go about the rest of your day or evening.
Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and you look at your schedule. You have absolutely nothing written down. There are no goals to meet, no chores to finish, and nowhere you need to travel to.
In that completely empty space, without the pressure of a ticking clock, how would you show kindness to yourself? What would your tired soul ask you to do with a free, quiet day?
We hope you find a gentle, comforting answer to that question. Thank you for sitting with us in this quiet space today on the English Echo.
We loved practicing with you. When the audio snaps, try to stay in the stillness for a few more slow breaths. Notice the air filling your lungs.
Take care of your heart, be gentle with your mind, and remember you are never walking this path alone. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, friends. See you next time.